In the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, amidst the honking cars, bright lights, and vibrant hum of life, there lived a couple, Kemi and Ade, with their cheerful 3-year-old son, Dure. On the surface, their life seemed perfect. Ade, a business consultant with a thriving career, and Kemi, a stay-at-home mother who once ran her father's successful insurance company, had a promising start to their marriage. But as time passed, cracks began to form in their seemingly perfect life. Gradually, Ade began drifting away. He started keeping late nights, and the late nights grew longer, and his excuses became flimsier. His breath often carried the pungent smell of alcohol. Kemi, ever the caring wife, would wait up for him, making sure he had food when he staggered home. But her concern only seemed to irritate him. One fateful night, Ade stumbled into the house drunk as usual, and Kemi was waiting up for him. She starts to question him about his late nights and drinking habit when Ade lashed out. "Stop fussing over me. Get a life of your own, Kemi," he spat, his words sharp and unkind. But that wasn't the worst of it. In his drunken state, Ade blurted out, "You know what? Maybe we should just have an open marriage. Then you won't have to worry about me anymore." Kemi froze, unsure if she had heard him correctly. An open marriage? Her mind reeled, but Ade was too intoxicated to elaborate and passed out shortly after. The seed of confusion and heartbreak was planted. Desperate to salvage her marriage, Kemi reached out to Ade's mother. Mama Ade, a strong and traditional woman, was appalled by her son's behavior. She confronted him, but instead of bringing him to his senses, it enraged Ade further. When he got home, he turned his anger on Kemi. "You dared report me to my mother?" he roared. That night, his words cut deeper than ever. "Stop controlling my life, Kemi. Maybe if you had a job or a passion, you wouldn't be so clingy." Kemi was stunned. She had left her career at Ade's request to raise their son, and now he mocked her for it. Unable to bear it anymore, Kemi confided in her parents. A family meeting was called, bringing both sides together. The tension was palpable. Kemi's father, a dignified elder in traditional Agbada, was outraged. Her mother, regal in her gele and lace dress, spoke through tears. When Kemi revealed Ade's request for an open marriage, the room fell silent. Her father thundered, "If you no longer value our daughter, let her go, but do not insult her or this family." Ade denied his request for an open marriage, calling it a misunderstanding. But Kemi's father wasn't convinced. "You had better be telling the truth, because my daughter will not participate in anything that does not give glory to God," he warned. Ade nodded, but the seed of mistrust had been sown. The ride home from the family meeting was silent. Kemi sat in the passenger seat, her arms crossed tightly, while Ade gripped the steering wheel, his jaw clenched. The tension in the air was thick. When they finally reached home, Ade exploded. "You had no right to air our dirty laundry to the entire family. Do you know how humiliated I felt?" he yelled. Kemi stood her ground, her voice calm but firm. "I did it because I love you, Ade. I wanted them to help you see reason." But Ade wasn't listening. "This is my life, Kemi, and I will do what I want. I'm going ahead with the open marriage, whether you like it or not." His words struck Kemi like a slap. She said nothing more as he stormed out of the house. The next morning, Kemi woke up to the smell of something cooking. Curious, she walked into the kitchen and found a strange woman, dressed casually but unmistakably in Ade's shirt, cooking in her space. "Who are you, and what are you doing in my kitchen?" Kemi asked, her voice calm but firm. The woman looked confused. "Who are you?" she retorted. Before Kemi could respond, Ade sauntered in, planting a kiss on the woman's cheek. "Ah, I see you've met my wife," he said nonchalantly. The woman, shocked to learn Ade was married, left immediately, but not without apologizing to Kemi. Kemi, however, stood frozen, her heart breaking. Meanwhile, Kemi confided in her closest friends about Ade's shocking request. Her first friend, Adiola, was livid. "What are you waiting for? Give him exactly what he wants. If he wants an open marriage, let him have it, on your terms. Or better yet, leave him," she declared, her voice sharp with indignation. Kemi sighed deeply, her voice heavy with emotion as she began to recount an incident that had occurred just 2 days earlier. "The other day I woke up to the smell of someone cooking in my kitchen," she said, her eyes distant. Her friends leaned in closer, their faces a mix of concern and curiosity. "When I walked in, I saw a strange woman. She was wearing Ade's shirt, cooking in my kitchen. I asked her, 'Who are you, and what are you doing in my kitchen?'" Kemi's voice trembled slightly as she replayed the memory. "The woman looked confused and asked me the same question. Then Ade walked in, kissed her on the cheek, and said, 'Ah, I see you've met my wife.'" Gasps filled the room as Kemi's friends stared at her in shock. The woman was horrified to find out Ade was married and stormed out immediately, apologizing to me on her way out. But I just stood there, frozen, my heart shattered right then and there. Tola clutched her chest in disbelief. "Kemi, you mean he introduced you like that to another woman in your own home? Is Ade okay? See, Kemi, there is nothing too hard for God to do. Go to him in prayer, and he will give you victory," she urged, her voice full of earnestness. Adiola shot Tola a disapproving look, her fiery temper bubbling to the surface. Turning back to Kemi, she exclaimed, "Is Ade a bastard? I wish I'd been there. I would have beaten that Ashwo woman black and blue." Adiola's anger only grew as she continued, "And you're still thinking about saving this marriage? That man is shameless." Amaka, ever the voice of practicality, placed a comforting hand on Kemi's shoulder. "Kemi, listen to me. Stop caring for him. Stop cooking. Stop doing his laundry. Stop waiting up for him. Let him feel what life is like without you, and please get a job. Focus on yourself and your happiness. You deserve to have something you're passionate about again." Kemi decided to follow Amaka's advice. She dusted off her CV, hired a nanny, and started applying for jobs. Her first position was modest, but soon her talent shone through. She began attending corporate events, dressing elegantly, and embracing her independence. Ade noticed the changes but dismissed them, thinking Kemi was simply trying to distract herself. Ade, meanwhile, struggled. His career faltered, his clothes were perpetually rumpled, and he found himself eating out daily. He began to notice Kemi's glow, her happiness, her confidence, her success, and jealousy brewed. In the beginning, Ade reveled in the independence of his open marriage. He partied late into the night, drank excessively, and met strange women. It was a lifestyle he thought he had missed out on as a married man. With no one waiting up for him at home, he felt a newfound freedom. But as the days turned into weeks, Ade began to notice the toll Kemi's withdrawal was taking on his life. Without her, he had to handle all his domestic chores himself, dropping his clothes at the dry cleaners, picking up groceries, buying deodorant and cologne, and even writing his own business proposals. This new burden left him with little time to party. He started showing up late to hangouts with his friends, disheveled and exhausted. His once polished appearance began to fade, and his friends noticed. One evening, Ade decided to confide in his friends about his bold request for an open marriage. Sitting in a lively bar, a smug smile spread across his face as he leaned back in his chair. "I told Kemi I wanted an open marriage," he said, his tone laced with pride. "And it's been great. I finally have my freedom." His friends exchanged surprised glances. One leaned forward, intrigued. "What? You actually said that to her? How did she react?" Ade chuckled, swirling his drink. "She wasn't having it at first. She cried, begged, and even reported me to my mom and her family. But I told her there was nothing she could do. I'm going ahead with it. Are you serious? Another friend asked, clearly stunned. Dead serious, Ade replied, grinning. When her dad asked me about it, I denied everything, of course. You know how that man hates me. The group laughed in unison, one of them clinking his glass against Ade's. Have you been enjoying it, though? One friend asked, raising an eyebrow. Ade hesitated, his confidence faltering for the first time. Well, yes, but it's been a bit hectic. Kemi stopped cooking for me, doing my laundry, or even helping me with my work. It's like she's withdrawn completely. I've been so busy managing everything myself. At this, his friends erupted into laughter. You idiot, one of them exclaimed, slapping the table. Why didn't you just keep cheating like everyone else? Why make your life so complicated by asking for an open marriage? Ade shrugged, trying to play it cool. I was tired of her fussing over me all the time, waiting up for me, reporting me to my mom or her dad. I just wanted my space. Another friend shook his head in disbelief, taking a sip of his drink. You're braver than me. I can't imagine someone else sleeping with my wife. Ade's expression stiffened. He sat upright, his brows furrowing. What do you mean? Kemi wouldn't do that. His friends exchanged knowing looks before bursting into laughter again. You really think that, huh? One of them said, shaking his head. You're not the only one who finds Kemi attractive. She's one of the most beautiful women in Lagos. Trust me, if you've opened the door, someone else will walk through it. Ade sat in silence, their words planting an uncomfortable seed of doubt in his mind. One day, while having a business meeting with his boss and some clients at a high-end restaurant, Ade spotted Kemi. She was elegantly dressed in a corporate outfit, laughing with a tall, handsome man in a sharp suit. They looked comfortable, happy even. Ade's stomach churned. He couldn't focus on the rest of the meeting. That evening, Ade rushed home and waited for Kemi. She arrived at almost 10 p.m., her demeanor calm and unbothered. Where have you been? Ade demanded. Kemi raised an eyebrow. Out, she said simply. With who? Ade pressed. Kemi sighed. It's none of your business. But if you must know, it was the managing director of my company. We had a business launch and later we had dinner with some of my colleagues. Ade's jealousy flared. You can't just... Don't you dare question me, Kemi interrupted. Not after everything you've done. Good night, Ade. For the first time, Ade felt the sting of neglect. He realized what he had lost. Ade decided it was time to close the marriage. He planned a grand anniversary gesture, hoping to win Kemi over with romance before breaking the news. His plan was to show her he was ready to end the open marriage and rebuild their relationship. But on the night of the dinner, Kemi didn't show up. She had traveled for a business trip. For the first time, Ade felt the sting of neglect, a sharp taste of what he had put her through. When Kemi returned, Ade sat her down and told her he wanted to close the marriage. To his shock, Kemi burst into laughter, long, hard laughter that echoed through the room. Confused, Ade asked why she was laughing. After she caught her breath, Kemi said, It's not possible. We have to keep this marriage open. This is what you wanted, Ade. I don't want that anymore, Ade replied, his tone pleading. I've realized my mistake. I want us to go back to the way things were. But Kemi wasn't having it. The way things were? She scoffed. You mean when you made decisions without me, humiliated me, and thought I would always stay? No, Ade. You don't get to dictate the rules anymore. Desperate, Ade called a family meeting to address the situation. With everyone gathered, he painted himself as the victim. Kemi has been keeping late nights, neglecting her duties as a wife, and ignoring me, he said, hoping to garner sympathy. But Kemi didn't stay silent. She stood her ground and recounted everything. She told the family how Ade had declared he would pursue an open marriage with or without her consent. She detailed how he had brought a strange woman into their home and introduced her as his wife. Ade's mother looked at Kemi with a pleading expression. "Please, my daughter, forgive him. He made a mistake. He's still your husband." But Kemi's father wasn't having it. He flared up, his voice booming. "Ade, I asked you before. Did you tell my daughter you wanted an open marriage? In front of everyone here, you denied it. You disrespected my daughter and this family. If you don't want her, let me know right now, and we will end this marriage." Turning to Kemi, he added, "You don't deserve this nonsense." The room fell silent. Ade, shaken, dropped to his knees and began to beg Kemi and the family. "I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please, Kemi, forgive me. I love you." Kemi's eyes softened as she watched him, the man she once deeply loved, humbled. Her heart was moved by compassion, and she spoke, her voice steady but firm. "Ode, I forgive you. I love you too, but things will never go back to the way they were. That part of us is gone. If we're going to make this work, it will have to be on different terms." Ade nodded, tears streaming down his face. He knew he had a long road ahead to earn her trust again.
Hi lovelies, if you enjoy this story and want to experience more captivating tales like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. There are so many incredible stories on the way and I can't wait to share them with you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.